Come on, Winchester 52C with a Hilux 20X VTS vintage target scope. Malcolm 20X scope. It's coming up next. Oh yeah, folks, that got me excited. I will tell you, for years, I mean years, over decades, I've always wanted one of those vintage scopes, and we know what they are. Looks like a Unerdal, doesn't it? Yes, absolutely a remake, I would call it, of a Unerdal. But Hilux is remaking these things. Can you believe that? And they're making them at what I consider to be an affordable optic in this day and age, especially for vintage. The last time you seen this Winchester 52C on the channel, it had the Redfield Olympic iron sights. Whew, I learned quickly. It was a humbling experience. I learned real quick that my eyes are not what they used to be. But those sights are still very good, and I shot about 1.2 inches at 100 yards. Today, I'm on the 50-yard rimfire range, shooting at 2-inch targets downrange with Ely team ammunition. First time I've ever shot Ely in this rifle, Ely team ammunition, and I've got a Malcolm 20X VTS scope sitting on top from Hilux. We're going to talk about it here in a little bit. Oh, she's stringing. All right, so what we have sitting on top today is a 20 power fixed scope from Hilux. And it is a remake of the great Unerdals with modern technology and modern components. If you start from the front of this thing, you'll see that it has the sunshade built in, and it's got 2 rings up here. The front ring up here is for adjusting the parallax. It can adjust down to 10 yards up to infinity. You're going to loosen this lock ring back here in the back to adjust it forward or back, and it has some great identification marks on it so that you can see and identify and also remember, get really close to where you need to be. If you're anything like me, you probably got a logbook with this stuff in it, along with your reloads, etc., how your scopes are set. This Hilux Optics Malcolm 20 power scope, like I said, looks like a complete remake of the Unerdal, but with modern technology. The clarity, I was really worried because of the 3/4 inch diameter of the tube. I was really worried about clarity and light. Oh my gosh, nothing to be worried about there. The clarity and light down range at 50 yards is spectacular. Haven't tried it at 100 yards just yet. I wanted to ring this thing out and see what it could do with the new scope sitting on it. It's got some gorgeous rings sitting on top. Now, there's a little bit about mounting this scope. 2, I think, things that I found. Doesn't make it hard, and it's not a knock on the scope in and of itself, but it came with everything you need in the packaging and also some bases. What I noticed were these bases were quite a bit higher than the original bases that were on here. So therefore, I said, nope, let's make it all Hilux optics. Let's make it all, use everything that they sent, right? Seems like the right thing to do. So I swapped out the bases, and sure enough, the mounts went right on. One additional thing I noticed about the mounts is you get them somewhat tight. The mounts are grooved. You get them somewhat tight and you slide them back and forth. You can tell when they're in the groove, and then you finger tighten them and then put a little screwdriver on it if you want. I have these tightened down to 10 inch pounds, and it is holding pretty steady. Also with the spring, the recoil spring, yes, it is a recoil spring. When the rifle comes back, the scope can have a tendency to move in and of itself. Oh gosh, which way? Yeah, see how tight I have that? That spring can come off. You can get as much tension on as you want to on here. And I am sure with the durability of the way this scope is made, it absolutely will work on a centerfire. And then one last thing. No, we're not going to talk about the tourist just yet. Let's put 5 more rounds down target. Ooh, Hilux Optics. Boy, this is a match made in heaven. The old 52C still got it. Ely team, folks. Ely team. All right. You know what? That is 3 5-round groups at it's 50 yards by our range, but if you put a rangefinder on it, it says it's 54 yards. Those are spectacular groups for something, what, well over 100 years old? Holy cow. Absolutely amazing. Is it 100 years old? I don't think it's quite 100 years old yet, but still decades old. I think these were made in 1938-ish. I should have dated it before I came out. Anyways, my second time with it on the range, 52C. But we're really here today to talk about the Hilux Optics Malcolm 20X VTS. I am just enamored with a couple of things. The robustness of the scope, even though it seems fragile with the external adjustments. These external adjustments, holy cow, you can bump them. They're not going anywhere. They're not very audible, and I know a lot of us like that audible click today. They're not all that audible. Let me see. Yeah, you can hear them somewhat. I don't know if you're picking that up on the audio or not, but you could hear it somewhat, but definitely when you got plugs in, you can't. And I know that there are some scopes out there that even with my plugs in, I can hear the clicks. But these things are robust. They are external, and you gotta have the right spacing, about 7.4 inches between your mounts to get quarter MOA clicks out of the rear adjustment. I've got a target down range that has been made up of quarter MOA adjustments measured, made by ODM, that we're going to see if this thing here will hold the right clicks at 50 yards. Let's make some adjustments. Oh, range fans, me and ODM been in the Mad Scientist Museum. Winchester 52C with the Hilux Malcolm 20X VTS scope, vintage target scope sitting on top. But what we've been in the old laboratory doing, we did some measurements on some software. DM is a pretty good whiz at that stuff. And we laid out an MOA target downrange that with 1 MOA in between each. And I will tell you, hopefully I go the right way and don't hit the camera downrange. But anyways, we're going to see if this thing can hold 0. The objective on the front of this thing is 41 millimeter. And for it to be 41 millimeter, I find it pretty, I thought that it was not going to bring in that much light. You know, today, man, those objectives, they're getting to be really huge on the front, right? But this thing is, I mean, gosh, I could see that target downrange so clearly. It is absolutely clear. But anyways, let's test and see if this thing's hold zero, because the scope ain't worth a dime if the adjustments aren't correct and if it won't hold zero. Let's see. Oh boy, here we go. Don't let me down. We're going to shoot at the orange dot down low first and make sure that we're just going to turn up one MOA, then we might go right. We'll see here. Here we go. And warm this barrel back up. All right, here we go. All right, let's put 5 rounds in this thing and see if we can get this test right and see if the Hilux 20X Malcolm VTS scope will hold and adjust as it should. Let's see here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hold aim. I'm going to go down 1 MOA from where it is now and hold aim on the orange. Should take me up to the next dot, right? I think that's the way it should work, DM. Let's see. So I'm aiming at the orange, should take me up to the 4 dot above. Ooh, dead center. Come on, Hilux. Oh, all my life I've wanted one of these. That's just drifting. The ammunition has nothing to do with the scope. Ooh, come on, 52C. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, baby. So now we're going to go back to the orange. Yep. Take it right back to the orange. Oh, yeah, button on the side. You can tell I haven't shot this thing much. Oh, now we're going to put 5 rounds in. We're going to take it left or right. You know what? I might try to perfect this old scope test and start doing a few more scope reviews or try to get better on the scope reviews, because this is really one of the first ones I've done, and I just had to try to give you the information. If you go over to dayattherange.com, you'll find a much better written article on the scope, the specs, but you're getting to see it live here on the range with me today. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Come on. All right. So let's see where it is. All right, here we go. Oh, will this baby shoot or won't she? Yes, she will. And you see it. Oh, this adjustment is absolutely amazing. Let's take it back to where it was. Take it back to where it was. I will tell you, I don't know that it's required. You really would have to talk to Hilux. And again, it's critically important that the spacing between your mount points are correct. It's in the manual. They stress it in some of their videos. And I found their videos to be very intuitive. They stress it in their videos. If not, be ready to do a little math. And I would also say, give those nice folks at Hilux a call, and they'll tell you what the adjustment should be. If you have an original that was drilled and tapped from the factory, it should have the right spacing on it, 7.4 inches in between the mounting blocks. Let's see, let's put one on the orange. Oh yeah, right back. And let's see if I go to the other target. This is just a blast. Hey, why am I lifting my head up? I like the bill to be down over the scope of my cap. It keeps a little bit of the light out. I find it helps my older eyes focus a tad bit more. So when I cock this thing, it hits the front of my bill. And yeah, I know I should keep a consistent cheek well, but we're not out here shooting for score. We're out here shooting to test this old vintage optic. Oh, I went the wrong way. Did you see that? So let's come back. Oh, I got excited. Now that should put me over on the other target. Oh yes, consistent, baby. Ooh, few more. Let's put a few more. Oh, is that it? Is this box empty, folks? Come on, hang in there with me. You know what? Oh, I got to get this box open. Oh yeah, let's get 5 more put in this thing. I hope you guys are seeing this video. What we're doing is testing the repeatability of the Hilux 20X vintage target scope, and so far it is dead on. Now I am aiming at the orange dot. And it's putting them over there. Oh yeah, baby. She is ready. Let's get it back to the center. Oh, she's centered and ready up. You know what? Yeah. 5 more. I'm sorry, folks. It's getting long. I know it's getting long today. Oh, boy. I kid my brother-in-law about being a pastor. Hey, man, don't be long this Sunday. And here I am. Probably needed to be a little bit long on Sunday. Get as much of that good word as I possibly can. Here I am making you guys sit through another 5 rounds. You know, there's just something about these vintage rifles. This is a true U.S. government issue, Winchester 52C, and it had iron Redfield Olympic sights on it. And I don't know how I came across Hilux, but I think it was just looking up vintage scopes, and Hilux is right up there at the top. And I said, well, man, you know what? Let me give these guys a call, because That is exactly what I've looked for. I've looked at the Unerdals. Yes, there's some on Fleabay and other auction sites, and I got to tell you, just too rich for my blood. And the way I see it, I don't want to knock those folks. Those are some great scopes, the older vintage scopes. But this is a vintage remake with modern technology. The glass has been polished. The glass has been coated. It is much clearer than some of the unerdoscopes I've looked at in the past. Where are we going to put this thing? Let's see. Let's raise the old ransom. And we're going to go at the number 2. And by the way, you see how small those dots are? They stick out. With my bad eyes, I can still read the numbers down there. Wind's picking up on me. Let's see if we can, what kind of group we can get on the number 2. I swear this is the last one. Whoa, why did that go so high? They all going high. That wind's coming right at me, picked up big time. Oh, so there you have it. The Winchester 52C and the Hilux 20X Malcolm VTS Vintage Target Scope. I'm telling you, if you have one of these rifles, doesn't have to be a Winchester 52, go over there and take a look at their product set. And go over to Dayattherange to see the written article. I swear to you, you'll have much more specifics about the scope in the written article than I brought out here on camera. I get on camera with you all. It's like bringing you all to the range with me, and I get overworked and just excited and fun out here on the range. If I calm down, I could probably do this thing much better justice on target. But there you have it. Mr. Revolver Guy, I'm going home. Oh, I told you folks I was going home. I know it. But you know what? You ain't supposed to go home with 10 rounds of Ely 10X. I found a box of Ely 10X in the back of my bag. If it shot that good with Ely Team, how will it shoot with Ely 10X? Let's see. Vertical stringing. Oh, well, you only got last 5 rounds, Ely 10X, to show up. It shot really well with the Ely team. I'm pretty happy. I was trying to think of what knock, what is it really a 5 out of 5 vintage scope? If it's not a 5 out of 5, and call this nitpicking, if you will, it's a 4.9 out of 5. This thing came with even metal scope covers, caps. Now, takes you a long thing to get this thing in the action because the scope cap is threaded pretty thinly. It takes forever to get this thing off. So if you want to call that a knock, so be it. But I tell you, for me, I can't really find a knock. And again, I've only shot a Unerdal friend of mine, true Unerdal. It was a 20 power, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a 20 power, same as this one. But I can tell you, the glass on this one is much better. And I would expect that when you talk about today's technology. Let's go, Hilux. Thing's starting to aggravate me now. That old cap of mine. Oh, you know what? Ely Tenix, this lot at least, may not just like. It don't matter. It's the last box anyways. But folks, I tell you what, go over to dayattherange.com. As I said previously, there is a lot of quality information over there. There will be a lot of quality information over there about this awesome duo. The Hilux 20X Malcolm VTS scope on the beautiful Winchester 52C. I can't forget sitting on top of that awesome Ransom International Ransom Rest. I'm going home this time, folks. You guys have a good day.